we've seen kind of a destruction of the idea of the alpha male or the alpha wolf in the past couple of years. And of course, the idea of the sigma has now come up and made its way through. I think that's kind of falling side. There's not so many Christian Bale memes going around. However, I read an article the other day and I was thinking about this concept, and I thought it would be something good to put forward, that this idea of the alpha wolf, which was really where the alpha male idea came from, is really a myth. Now, back in the 70s, there were some researchers who were studying zoo wolves and got this idea that there's a strong hierarchy in the wolf pack, and that dominance and aggression is really what determines who's the alpha, right? Fight a lot. The problem is they had taken wolves, released them into the wild, but they were zoo-trained wolves. They didn't have their own, hadn't grown up in their own packs. And there was kind of this chaos and this war that ensued between the wolves. But when you go and study wolves who form packs naturally, there's a whole different hierarchy structure that happens. It's more of a family structure. And if you think about families, especially older generation families, right, the patriarch tends to be that alpha in the family. But there's a big difference in how the alpha wolf in this pack acts. They're familial. They provide for the women and children. They're active and productive in the lives of their pups. They'll play with their pups. They'll protect them. They might even not eat first, ensuring that everybody else gets food. Now, if they get challenged by a son or a brother or something like that, yeah, sure, maybe there's a fight. Or by other wolves from other packs, that kind of thing. But this whole idea that you have to be a lone wolf, alpha, dominant, aggressive, is really a myth. And in fact, and we're watching this in the Christian world, and I love it because, hey, this conversation is being had and needs to be had, is what does it mean to actually be an alpha male in your life? And it's a whole different construct. Now, maybe we can redeem this term. I don't know. And it's not something I'm hanging my hat on that we have to do, but if you wanted to redeem the term, wouldn't an alpha male actually just be a man actualized, a truly masculine man? He cares for his wife and his children. He's active in the life of his wife and children. He's providing for them. He's protecting them. He's watching over them. He's quiet. He's confident, but he's dangerous. He's capable. He's efficient. He's resourceful. He's at the top of the hierarchy structure because he's leading that pack through the world. And if we could put that into our hearts, men, and instead of this idea of I'm going to make everybody subservient to me, I'm going to be aggressive and dominant against my wife and children, which there does seem to be a threat of that growing up, and I've talked about that before. If we can do away with that, and we can realize Christ came as a servant, and one might argue he's the King of Kings, he flat out tells us, I come as a servant, not to be served. Oh, maybe I should be a servant. So what does that mean? It means not lording it over your family. It means not looking at your wife and going, you better bow down to me because of Adam and Eve. Maybe. It means leaving behind yourself and recognizing I'm a servant of my wife and children. I need to protect them above all costs. I need to protect them above all costs. I need to lift them up. I need to provide for them. I need to ensure that they can operate in this world without fear of harm, as best to my ability, without fear of need, as best to my ability, without fear of instability, as best to my ability. Now, obviously, God is the provider of all things, and He's the one we put our faith and reliance in, but we still have a job to do. And I think we do ourselves a disservice when we take this mentality that not only am I going to be the leader, I'm going to be the alpha. And whether that looks in the sense of being aggressive and dominant towards other men and other people, which just destroys social fabric, or dominant and aggressive towards my family because God has made me the headship over this family and they will all bow down to me. Christ washed feet, even of Judas. Have you washed the feet of your wife? Now, obviously metaphorically, but hey, physically, go for it. Why not? Might be good exercise in you getting on your knees and realizing I have a woman that I need to protect and uphold. And so I encourage you to look more into this idea of the alpha wolf myth because there's been a whole men's structure built about this idea of I've got to be the alpha wolf. And we've put it on men of alphas and betas, and then we brought in the whole sigma lone type stuff. If we look back at the wolf and we want the wolf to be our inspiration, the wolf is actually a darn good family man. And for those of you who have given up on the institution of marriage or family, those of you who feel that it is just a minefield that no man should get involved in or invested in, I hear you. I get it. But the problem is we're not holding high standards for our prospects. We're holding impossible standards for our prospects. And we've held too low of standards in the past and gotten burned. And so everybody's human, and this is a whole nother conversation, but I feel I have to put it out there. Do not throw out the baby with the bathwater. And realize that that family structure helps you to become a better man. I will tell you now, I changed after I got married. I changed even more after my first son was born. There's something that changes in a man that should when he gets married and when he has kids, because it's no longer about you. The system of a bachelor party, what's that really saying? Your bachelorhood is dying. It's a send-off to your singleness. It's a send-off to you being your own person, because when you get married, it becomes one flesh. You're no longer your own. And when you receive that, you go, I am now a servant of another. Your life changes, and in such a great way. You actually become more of who you're supposed to be through that service, through that giving out. If you like this type of stuff, sign up, follow, leave a comment, anything you want to do.